Deep in the heart of Tanzania's wild bushlands lives a tribe whose survival depends not on technology but on ancient instinct. The Hadzabe Bushmen are among the last true hunter-gatherers on Earth. They live without electricity, without modern tools, and without written maps, relying instead on wisdom passed down through generations. But how do they survive in a world that has left their way of life behind? Stay with us, as we'll journey into the wild to uncover how the Hadzabe Bushmen track and hunt these formidable animals using techniques honed over millennia. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more incredible stories from the wild. Let's dive in. The Hadzabe are not just survivors, they are true masters of the wilderness, living in one of the most challenging environments on Earth, the vast arid bushlands of Tanzania. For centuries, this tribe has thrived through their intimate connection with nature, relying on ancient hunting skills passed down through generations. Their sharp instincts, silent communication, and unmatched patience allow them to track prey that would otherwise remain hidden to the untrained eye. Unlike modern hunters, the Hadzabe depend entirely on traditional methods, using handmade bows and poison-tipped arrows. Among these skills, tracking and hunting porcupines stands out as a key challenge, requiring deep knowledge of the land, animals, and time-honored techniques that make them one of the most skilled hunter-gatherer tribes in the world. For the Hadzabe people of Tanzania, porcupines are more than just a source of food. They are a prized catch that reflects deep hunting skill and tradition. Though porcupines are slow-moving and not aggressive, they are not easy to hunt. These large rodents live in underground burrows and are mostly nocturnal, coming out at night to search for food. Tracking them requires patience, sharp observation, and inherited knowledge of their behaviors. A single porcupine provides enough meat to feed multiple people, making the effort of tracking and hunting it highly rewarding. But to the Hadzabe, the value of the porcupine goes beyond nutrition. The hunt itself is a challenge that tests a hunter's ability to read the land, understand animal behavior, and move quietly. Hadzabe hunters know exactly when porcupines are likely to return to their burrows, what kind of signs to look for, and how the animal is likely to behave if it senses danger. This deep knowledge is not written down in books or taught in classrooms. Instead, it is passed from one generation to the next through storytelling, hands-on practice, and shared hunting experiences. Fathers take their sons into the bush, pointing out tracks, digging signs, and sleeping spots. Over time, the young learn how to think like a porcupine, to anticipate its movements and outsmart it in its own territory. For the Hadzabe, hunting porcupines is a respected art that connects them to their land, their ancestors, and their identity as skilled hunters. For the Hadzabe people, the hunt for a porcupine begins with a quiet walk through the forest and a sharp eye for the smallest signs. As expert trackers, the Hadzabe rely on generations of experience and an intimate understanding of the land. Every leaf, footprint, and broken twig could hold meaning. They move slowly and silently, scanning the ground and nearby trees for any clue that might point them toward their quarry. Fresh tracks are often the first sign. Porcupines leave behind small, wide footprints, usually with visible claw marks. These tracks may lead to or from a burrow. Nearby, they might find a few loose quills, long, stiff spines that sometimes fall out naturally, especially near a burrow's entrance. These quills are a strong sign that a porcupine is nearby or has recently passed through. Another telltale sign is gnawing marks on tree bark or exposed roots. Porcupines chew on wood to keep their ever-growing teeth in check and to extract nutrients. The Hadzabe also watch for dung, small round droppings that often line active paths used by the animal. But tracking is not only about what can be seen. The Hadzabe trackers often kneel and touch the soil. They check its temperature, moisture, and softness to judge how recently the animal was there. Cooler or drier soil suggests older tracks, while warm, soft ground means the trail is fresh. If the clues confirm recent activity, the chase begins, and the Hadzabe follow the trail deeper into the bush. Once the Hadzabe confirm the signs of a nearby porcupine, the real chase begins. This stage can take hours, testing the hunter's endurance, focus, and deep connection to the land. The porcupine may have returned to its burrow or found another hidden place to rest during the heat of the day. No matter where it leads, the Hadzabe are ready. Barefoot and agile, they move swiftly across challenging terrain, thorny bushes, sharp rocks, and dry, cracked soil. Yet they remain silent, making no sound that might alert the animal. Communication is done through subtle hand gestures or soft, bird-like whistles. These quiet signals allow the hunters to coordinate without disturbing the forest's natural rhythm. Their eyes are constantly scanning for fresh clues. A broken twig, disturbed leaves, or a half-eaten root can all reveal the direction the porcupine has taken. Even faint drag marks left by its quills brushing the ground are enough to keep the Hadzabe on track. They pause often, crouching low to examine the earth or to listen carefully for sounds beneath the surface. At last, the trail leads to a key discovery: a burrow. This is a critical moment. Porcupines often dig deep, complex tunnel systems with multiple exits. The Hadzabe approach with care, studying the entrance for signs of recent use, loose soil, quills, or fresh prints. If the signs confirm the animal is inside, they begin to plan the next move. For the Hadzabe, every step is a blend of instinct, skill, and ancient tradition. For the Hadzabe, reaching a porcupine's burrow is a major step in the hunt, but it's also where the real challenge begins. These burrows are not simple holes in the ground. They are deep, winding tunnels that can reach over 6 feet below the surface and often have more than one exit. Some burrows are shared with other animals, such as warthogs, making it even harder to know what lies beneath. The Hadzabe approach the burrow slowly and with great care. They begin a close examination, looking for clear evidence of recent activity. Fresh footprints at the entrance are key indicators. Scratches along the tunnel walls, likely made by the porcupine's claws, reveal movement in or out. Droppings near the entrance, small and round, signal an active occupant. Even the air around the burrow carries clues. Porcupines leave behind a musky, earthy scent, which the Hadzabe can recognize immediately. Once they confirm the burrow is currently in use, the hunt enters its most critical phase: extracting the porcupine. This step requires not just tools and strength, but patience and strategy. The porcupine may be curled deep within the tunnel, well protected by tight corners and sharp quills. Digging must be done carefully to avoid injury and prevent the animal from escaping through a hidden exit. This stage reflects the Hadzabe's deep respect for their prey and their environment. Every movement is measured. Every decision is based on years of experience, passed down from one generation to the next. Digging into a porcupine's burrow is a slow and risky task, so the Hadzabe rely on a smarter, time-tested method: smoke. Instead of exhausting themselves trying to reach deep into a twisting tunnel, they use fire and strategy to flush the animal out. The process begins by gathering dry grass, tree bark, and leaves from the surrounding forest. These natural materials burn slowly and produce thick, pungent smoke. Near the main entrance of the burrow, the Hadzabe build a small fire. Once the flames catch, they carefully direct the smoke into the tunnel. They may use a bundle of leafy twigs, hollow reeds, or even plastic tubing found near modern villages to funnel the smoke deep into the burrow system. Porcupines are highly sensitive to smoke. Inside the burrow, the air quickly becomes hot and hard to breathe. The animal becomes disoriented and uncomfortable. Driven by instinct and desperation, it looks for a way out. At this point, the Hadzabe hunters are absolutely still. They surround the area silently, bows drawn, eyes sharp, and senses heightened. They know the porcupine may come rushing out at any moment, trying to escape the smoke. Timing and precision are everything. A missed shot could mean the animal finds another exit and disappears. This clever tactic shows the Hadzabe's deep understanding of animal behavior and their ability to use natural tools for effective hunting. It is a perfect mix of patience, planning, and skill, hallmarks of Hadzabe hunting tradition. As the smoke fills the burrow and the porcupine finally emerges, the Hadzabe hunters ready themselves for the decisive moment. The animal is usually slow, disoriented, and struggling to breathe, but it's still dangerous. Its body is protected by long, sharp quills that can injure any hunter who gets too close. The Hadzabe, knowing this well, never underestimate their prey. A seasoned hunter, standing at a distance with his bow drawn, waits patiently for a clear shot. He aims for the soft areas of the porcupine's body, typically the side or neck, where there are fewer quills and vital organs are exposed. With one swift release, the arrow flies. If the shot is accurate, the animal falls quickly, minimizing its suffering and the risk to the hunter. However, not every encounter ends instantly. If the porcupine is only wounded, it may attempt to retreat or flee into the underbrush. The Hadzabe follow cautiously, maintaining distance from its thrashing quills. They finish the job with additional arrows, or if necessary, a well-placed thrust from a spear. In some cases, the porcupine refuses to emerge from its burrow, even after being smoked. When this happens, the Hadzabe switch to a more time-consuming method. They carefully dig near a known exit, or insert a long hooked stick into the tunnel to force the animal out. While effective, this approach demands extra patience and energy. This final stage marks the climax of the hunt, a moment that requires precision, respect, and experience passed down through generations. With the porcupine finally down, The Hadzabe hunters take a moment to breathe and appreciate their success. Before carrying the animal, they carefully remove some of its quills. Sharp and barbed, these can still cause injury even after death. Using knives or sticks, they pluck the dangerous spines from the back and sides, ensuring it's safe to transport. Once secure, the porcupine is slung over a shoulder or tied with vines for the journey back. The walk to camp is not rushed. It is quiet, but filled with a deep sense of satisfaction. Hunters may exchange soft words or laugh gently as they recall moments from the chase, how the signs were spotted, how the smoke curled into the burrow, or how the arrow flew. It becomes more than a hunt. It becomes a story that will be retold around the fire, adding to the oral history of their people. The entire process, from spotting the first signs to the final shot, can take anywhere from 2 to 6 hours. To an outsider, the effort might seem too great for a single animal, but to the Hadzabe, it is much more than food. It is a ritual, a test of skill, and a way of maintaining harmony with the land. Hunting connects them to their ancestors, to the rhythms of the forest, and to each other. Each successful hunt strengthens bonds within the community and reinforces the values that have kept the Hadzabe people alive and thriving for generations. Once the Hadzabe return to camp with their prized catch, the focus shifts from the thrill of the hunt to the warmth of community. The porcupine, now lifeless but honored, is prepared with care and respect. A fire is built, and the animal is roasted whole, allowing the flames to singe off the remaining quills and burn away the tough outer skin. This method also imparts a smoky flavor to the meat, which the Hadzabe enjoy. After roasting, the animal is butchered and the meat is shared fairly among everyone present. Elders, children, and fellow hunters all receive a portion. In Hadzabe culture, sharing is not only tradition, it is a necessity and a way to reinforce the bonds of community. Nothing goes to waste. The meat is either eaten roasted or boiled in a pot if water is available. The fat, rich and flavorful, is especially valued and often given to elders or young children. Bones are cracked open with rocks to extract the nutritious marrow inside. Even the quills are saved. These sharp spines are cleaned and used as decorative items, hair ornaments, or tools for sewing and puncturing. This stage of the process reflects the Hadzabe's deep respect for the animal. To them, the hunt is not just a means of survival, it is a cycle of gratitude. Every step, from tracking to feasting, honors both the skill of the hunter and the life of the animal that now nourishes the tribe. Hunting porcupines is not merely a survival skill for the Hadzabe. It is an intricate art that requires a deep understanding of animal behavior, a keen eye for tracking, and immense patience. These skills, honed over generations, are passed down from father to son, ensuring that the knowledge of the hunt is never lost. Young boys often watch the older men closely, learning not just how to hunt, but why it is so important to their way of life. The process teaches them much more than just the mechanics of catching an animal. First and foremost, it teaches observation, how to read the signs of the forest, the faintest tracks, or the tiniest shifts in the environment. It instills discipline in young hunters as they learn to move quietly and carefully, knowing that every step matters. Above all, the hunt teaches respect for nature. The Hadzabe do not hunt recklessly or wastefully. Every animal taken is seen as a gift, and every part is used, reflecting their deep gratitude for the land that provides for them. They also learn to hunt in a way that preserves the ecosystem, ensuring that their practices do not harm the delicate balance of the wild. For the Hadzabe, hunting is far more than a skill. It is a central part of their identity, linking them to their ancestors and ensuring the survival of their traditions. It is a sacred bond, one that connects past, present, and future in an unbroken cycle of knowledge and respect. As the world around them changes, the Hadzabe face increasing challenges. Deforestation, land encroachment, and outside influences threaten their way of life. The forests where they once thrived are disappearing, and their hunting grounds are shrinking. The porcupines and other animals they rely on are harder to find, and the rhythms of the bush, which have sustained them for generations, are becoming disrupted. Despite these struggles, the Hadzabe continue their traditions with resilience and pride. They adapt to the changing environment, but the core of their culture remains unchanged. Hunting is no longer just about survival. It is an act of defiance against the forces that seek to alter their way of life. They still track and hunt, still honor the land and its creatures, and still pass down the wisdom of the hunt to the younger generations. In recent years, the Hadzabe have attracted the attention of anthropologists, filmmakers, and researchers eager to document their unique way of life. They are seen as a living link to a past long lost to most of the modern world. Yet, to the Hadzabe, their existence is not an anthropological study or a spectacle for outsiders. It is simply how they have always lived. They are not performing for the camera. They are living off the land, one hunt at a time, staying true to a tradition that has sustained their people for millennia. For the Hadzabe, every hunt is more than a means of finding food. It's a journey into their cultural memory. Each footstep taken in pursuit of the porcupine echoes with generations of ancestral wisdom. Young hunters are not only taught where to look or how to shoot, but how to read the unseen, wind direction, animal behavior, and the rhythm of the bush. They are trained to understand when the forest is too quiet, or when a bird's sudden flight signals danger or prey nearby. Hunting porcupines also teaches teamwork. It's rarely a solo task. One person might track, another digs, and others wait in silence for the animal's escape. This cooperation builds trust and unity within the group. Children often join as observers, absorbing the rhythm of the hunt. These moments act as a classroom in the open wild, where lessons are learned not through lectures, but by watching, doing, and listening. Beyond skill, the hunt instills deep emotional intelligence. Hadzabe hunters learn patience, humility, and respect. They understand that failure is part of the process and that nature cannot be rushed. A missed shot becomes a lesson, not a defeat. Even in success, the Hadzabe do not boast. Instead, they give thanks for the animal's life, for the land that provides, and for the community that shares. This humility is central to their survival ethic. There is no room for arrogance in the wild, only gratitude and responsibility. As the modern world continues to shift, the Hadzabe remain anchored by these timeless values. Their hunts are not just for sustenance, they are acts of cultural preservation. Each porcupine hunt, no matter how small, is a living story that continues the heartbeat of a people deeply connected to the earth beneath their feet. For the Hadzabe, hunting a porcupine is more than survival. It's a test of patience, precision, and ancestral knowledge passed down through generations. Each hunt tells a story, not just of man and beast, but of harmony with the land, respect for life, and the strength of cultural identity. In a world racing forward with technology, the Hadzabe remind us of the ancient skills we've forgotten and the timeless bond between human and nature. What can we learn from people who hunt, not just to eat, but to honor the very world that sustains them? Let's know in the comments. If you found this journey inspiring, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories from the world's most remote corners.